Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So as usual, let's discuss what happened in the market today. Tesla finishing down 4.61%, ending the day at $839.29 per share. So what happened in the market today? Well, we actually finally dropped like I was expecting. I thought this would be the drop, but I guess, it wasn't. So we had a little bit of a dead cat. If you've been following my videos, that this drop right here, you should not be surprised. A lot of when I made this prediction, a lot of people were saying how like, oh man, everyone's so bearish, I want to buy calls. Well, good luck with those calls, man, because I'm sure those calls are not looking too hot right now. Again, this should not come as a surprise, right? That's the reason I bring these kind of things up, right? I'm not here to tell you guys it's only going to the moon and we're only going up. That's not how it works. You have to be realistic. Again, the only reason I personally look at short-term price targets is because I trade like I sell calls. I sell options, and sometimes I'll trade some shares. Long term, I don't I don't care long term. I know where this is going over the next year, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, whatever. Right? I think we all know where it's going. Short term, it's just I don't know. It's fun to predict the market. It's fun to try to figure out what's going to happen. So anyway, so what happened here was, like I said, we had a triple top similar to what we had right here, triple top, and we fell down, had a small bounce, and then we actually fell fully. Same thing is happening here. Triple top, fall down. Might get a small bounce to like 850-ish, probably set a lower high, and then complete the fall down all the way down to 810. That's one option. The other option is we just straight beat down to 810 almost instantly. That is also a very real possibility. So essentially, whether it happens tomorrow or whether it happens, sometime next week, we're going to be hitting 810. Like there's an extremely high chance we're going to be hitting between this 815 to 810 range, somewhere in there. Probably there's a decent chance to go below that as well to like 800. Now that's where things will start getting interesting. That's where we'll have to revisit. I'll have to like see how it moved down there, because the way it moves down there also can give you a better idea. So I don't know what's going to happen once we reach this area. If I had to take a guess right at this very moment, I think we should hold around this general vicinity, like around the 800-ish level, give or take like 20 points. So like 780 to like 810-ish, somewhere in that range. Like I expect that to hold. Like I don't want to set a lower low than this. That's for sure. Like that'll be really bad. And I think worst case scenario, like 760. I really would be super surprised if we drop below 760. That would, in my opinion, realistically would be like a realistic worst case scenario, unless of course something else happens with the whole Russia-Ukraine thing, or something else entirely just unforeseen happens. Like, who knows? That just completely causes the market to collapse. But I don't see us dropping lower than 700 unless essentially the whole market collapses for whatever reason. So that's that at least. Another thing to note is the fact that on the daily, Tesla is just barely holding this 200 moving average. Again, a moving average is sitting at 838. We close at 839. So we're literally at it right now. And I wouldn't be surprised to see potentially a small bounce off of this maybe tomorrow, but I don't expect it to be a big bounce. I expect it to bounce to maybe like 850. And then probably get rejected. And then I also expect the 200 moving average to break temporarily as well. Again, I'm not a huge fan of moving averages. A lot of people like to use it. A lot of people think it's, they just like to use it. From what I've been seeing, and again, I stare at these charts like literally every single day. Not a huge fan of moving averages. There's like so many times where you just see it constantly fall below, like over and over and over. I don't know. It's okay. Like, it's all right, I guess, as an average. But like, I'm not a huge fan of it, so if it breaks below it, it doesn't mean much to me personally. Like, I'm not going to be here like, oh my god, I lost a 200-day moving average, holy, it's over. Like, whatever. Maybe we'll see some more down pressure because of it, but I don't think it's like some big signal for, the world's falling apart or anything like that. So, again, take that as you will. Everyone has their opinion on that, of course. But either way, that's essentially what I'm looking at right now, guys. Just, maybe a bounce, a little bit of a slight oversold bounce, even though it's not really oversold, to be completely honest with you, into a rejection, into a completion down to at least fill the gap. Like at the very least, we're filling this gap. Are we going to go lower than that? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Again, 760. I don't expect to drop below 760 personally, but at the very least, I do think we are going to be filling this gap either tomorrow or sometime early next week, maybe Monday, maybe Tuesday. We'll see. But yeah, that's essentially what I'm seeing right now, guys. A fairly quick video. Not a whole lot to talk about today, other than the fact that essentially what I was calling out for literally days at this point is finally taking into account. It's finally happening, I guess, is the best way to say it. None of you should be surprised if you've been following these videos. I unfortunately have no cash to play this right now because, again, I'm still a little bit... Well, the calls... Okay, so as like for like transparency, I actually sold Back on last Thursday, I think it was a week ago, when this whole day happened, as we recovered, we're down 8% and we recovered to like down 3%. So we essentially recovered like 5% of that. I sold calls for, I think it was 805. And then, I mean, we know what happened next, where we just literally rallied to plus 4%. So that was really bad. And then we kept rallying. So essentially, and then I had to roll the calls a week later. And then I rolled them to 820s. And then I re-rolled them to 840s. So essentially I have 840 calls sold for next Friday. So I'm still technically in the water, even though we're ending at 839. I'm still in the water on those calls that I sold, because it memed up super hard and it trapped me a little bit, I'll be honest. And I mean, it is what it is, and buying them back and just like accepting the loss is just, I can't do that, because it's a huge loss if I accept it. So I have to just either keep rolling it or buy it back once it does drop to this area, which I predict anyways for happening. So whatever. It's unfortunate. You know, I'm definitely taking an L on those, regardless of how you want to look at this. It's just how much of an L am I taking is the question at this point. But, you know, overall, I've been selling the calls extremely well. It's just, you know, sometimes when you have days like that Thursday, where you go from negative 8% to positive 4 to 5%, those kind of outlier days, sometimes they happen. Like, it's hard to predict those kind of days, man. This looked like insanely bearish, and I guess I just, you know, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. You live, you learn. But yeah, so that's essentially what I'm expecting, guys. I'm expecting potentially a small bounce. Either way, even small bounce or no small bounce, I'm still expecting it to fall down to 810. Worst case, realistically 760, unless something horrible happens across, you know, America, Russia, Ukraine, both. Who knows? But yeah, that's essentially what I'm seeing, guys. Let me know what you think down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.